Hi everyone, this is OG Star Wars with my guest here, Stig. How you doing, Stig? Good morning. Well, I'm from California at least.
Hello there. Doing quite well.
Yes.
And it's 6 in the afternoon on the coast of Norway.
Yeah.
And I had a healthy dinner.
Nice. And he shared that with me. He looks like he's a pretty good cook out there, so it looked really, really good. So, I'm, morning time here and I have my Caff or my coffee here. And so, the most important question we open up our chat with is what's in your mug, or what are you enjoying today as you chat with me about Star Wars? And I hear myself echoing. Am I echoing?
I don't know, but you don't have to say it twice.
Oh my God. Oh, so what's in your mug? And Stig, what are you enjoying? Are you enjoying any specific type of beverage?
That's none of your business, lady.
Why?
My mug is my personal business.
Oh, he came in sassy today. I'm all trying to wake up and he's sassy.
I'm going to be honest. I have a bottle of Coca-Cola. I shouldn't have had it though, since my dinner was really healthy. But I was like, I want it.
You're like, I'm craving that.
Yes.
And we were just talking about eating healthy as well. And so, yeah, that's not what you should be having, but enjoy it anyways.
Yeah. It's we can't be 100% healthy, can we?
You can have stuff in moderation. So let's just put it at that.
Speaking of healthy-looking people, here's Lady Toriel the Elf.
Yes.
All the way from Kirkwood. I wouldn't think they had good Wi-Fi there, but it's probably using one of those scrying stones.
And then we have Christian here. Good morning. What's in your mug or your cup? What are you enjoying? And then we have Willie. Good morning. What's up, Alora at OG Star Wars? Good morning. So thank you guys for coming in.
Hi, Willie and Christian. Hope you're well today.
Yes, and there you go, Stig. And Jedi Padawan Tano. Hello, lovely. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tano.
Yes, let me see here. So I'm feeding my coffee addiction. Yes, that's what I'm doing. And for you guys, I know maybe Jedi. See, I can't even talk right now. I'm still waking up. Jedi Padawan Tano probably knows what this emblem is and where this came from, or what part of the lore this came from. Stig, you probably know too. So, you remember?
It's the squadron Luke made.
Yes.
Twin Sun something, I think.
Twin Sun Squadron. Yes, there we go. Yeah. So Twin Sun Squadron, and I did get myself a t-shirt with this logo as well. One of my favorite squadrons, besides, Rogue Squadron, and I know Wraith came from Rogue Squadron as well. So, I mean, it's really interesting.
You get so much caffeine in you that you enter hyperspace.
Exactly. That sets you off into hyperspace. There you go.
Yeah. Stay on target. And you're like, no, I don't use Target. I go to Walmart.
Oh, no. I go to Target. I go to Target. I try to avoid Walmart as much as possible these days. So, yeah, that's me. And, you never know. You might end up, might go in there to run in, and you might end up on one of according Christie's, Walmart streams.
Yeah, so I've been on a lot of those, and those streams and Florida things that Lorena do.
Yeah,
they put me off going to the United States probably permanently.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, people are not right in the head over there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
there's no excuse for that.
I am so sorry. I don't have anything to counter that. I'm in California, so can you imagine? I'm like 3 hours from Hollywood.
Yeah. If you have warriors, now's the time to use them. Send them to Hollywood.
Yeah. Okay, Christian. We were just talking about that before we came on. So next coffee chat, we are going to talk about Shadows of the Empire and also the game that's kind of, well, I wouldn't say kind of, that is from that as well. So be prepared and come in, and we can chat that about that too next week.
Yeah,
So
that's actually good timing if you read it before next week,
mhm.
because you know that it's the novel, the comic, the soundtrack, and the video game. So it's like a multi project.
Yeah, yeah. And then I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to go watch my final video, but a video I put that shares that George Lucas was consulted and actually worked with Matthew Stover, and he also took questions from James Luceno about Labyrinth of Evil, and I believe Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. So George helped create the trilogy, Dark Lord trilogy, which includes Labyrinth of Evil, Revenge of the Sith, and Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. So I shared that evidence video, fun facts that George Lucas was consulted, and Matthew worked with him in person regarding the novels. And then Disney Lucasfilm blocked that video. So I had to, and the reason why they blocked it, the copyright blocked it so no one could see it, is because I used 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars images and clips. But I also used Revenge of the Sith from one of the trailers. I used one of the trailers, like clips from that. So I just like took clips from that and used parts of the trailer for the video as well. I didn't get copyright blocked from that, but from Clone Wars. I thought that was pretty funny and very ironic because, you know, what before the buyout of Star Wars, you know, they went ahead and made Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. They just shoved it to the side for the Clone Wars, and so they made it almost irrelevant. And then to come back and get a company that deems, you know, everything that is original lore legends, that was just very ironic to me. Now, what was you going to say, Stig?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay. Sorry. I just like cut you off right there. I was like, oh, well, let me finish what I'm saying. No.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Sorry.
Keep going. It's all good.
Yeah. And so what do you think about that, Stig? I think maybe you now finally watched the final video that I re-edited, and so far as I know it, it's okay. It's still up and all that. But I thought it was like, very
well, I think I watched something when I woke up this morning, but
okay.
Don't know what the heck it was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. But it's very interesting video, and I'm going to comprise a video, maybe a 2-part series video of all evidence comprised of George, you know, helping with create the EU, no matter how little and or big. And so Shadows of the Empire is one of them that he really loved the story.
Yeah, it fits like a glove between 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we end up getting a multimedia project from it. And so I'll lead into this. I was showing this to Stig. So I do have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's on record that she has it.
Yep.
Come on, you didn't catch that pun.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I caught that. All right. So Willie Woodward, I'd be honest, Shadows of the Empire was one of the few EU books I read didn't like it that much. Oh, really? However, the toys were awesome, especially the swoop. Wow. Okay. So you're one of the few, because that story seems to be very popular with the fans. But yours going to have people like or dislike for whatever reasons, no matter which novel it is, you know, and some may like it really well, some may not. So, you know, there's going to be that variance and stuff. So
yeah, it's perfectly okay not to like it.
Yeah.
There's EU books I think is shit as well.
Yeah.
The the one where Wedge shagged the chicken. I didn't like that. Luke kind of caught him and went, "Pull out, Wedge. You can't do any more good back there." Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh goodness gracious. All right. Lord Vader, I like the Clone Wars 2003, but the Clone Wars will always be my Clone Wars. Okay.
Then you all lost.
He's like, oh, it did. You could like whatever you like it. And now he's like, then you are
Yeah,
lost.
except that one. Oh
Hey,
yes, I
Sting,
named
nice
20
job.
planets last time, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
No, it
And
was more than 20.
well, the thing is that a lot of planets you named were already pre-established, pre-Disney planets. Because remember, I took count of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Karen you are, you shut down my list.
Yes. Let me see here. Let me see if I could. No, I'm not going to try to pull it up. I'm a big Dash Rendor. Okay, so you're a big Dash Render fan. That's pretty cool. So again, so for those of you guys that are watching right now, we are going to go ahead and still talk about more games. We're going to talk about a game today, as well as classical era Star Wars, so Empire era Star Wars.
Maybe a quadrology.
Yeah. And then next week we'll go ahead and move forward and talk about the next game. And that's going to be Shadows of the Empire with Dash Rendor. So, yes, I'm excited about that. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, I can name just Disney created planets. OG. Okay. I didn't like the political intrigue aspect of it at OG Star Wars. Didn't feel like Star Wars to me. Oh, okay. I didn't get a very much of a political aspect to it. It
was more like, with Zizor and Vader and all that, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I get what he means.
Yeah. I mean, it was, to me, even though they have that the push and pull on trying to gain power and respect from the Emperor, and how Caesar wanted to be the second, strongest being in the galaxy and get rid of Vader. To me, that was that wasn't too political to me.
No, I wouldn't say it's too political, but I get what he means, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a lot of yapping.
Yeah. There's a lot of let's see I want to impress daddy. I want to be daddy's favorite.
Yep.
That's how I got that, oh no, it's Attack of the Chickens.
Yeah. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Here
Wrong. It was Wedge.
Oh Lord.
You rebel scum.
There you go. That fits what you just said too. You rebel scum.
Well, Winter shagged Akbar, though, so that's a fish.
Yeah.
That trilogy is all kinds of furry, really.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, okay, so I'm not excusing. I mean, okay, let's just say, let's just go here. Disney Lucasfilm and the current owner and the current people in the heads of Disney Lucasfilm was like, we need diversity, so they're screaming this diversity. But when you look at this trilogy that we're talking about, with Winter and is it Akbar, and then Wedge and Zeus or whatever her name is, the humanoid chicken person bird.
Yeah.
There's diversity right there.
Yeah, that's
xenophobic, and they are actually having relationships with other species. And
yeah, that has to be
Star Wars.
That has to be some kind of LGBTQ thing. And Jabba the Hutt is an hermaphrodite, because all the Hutts are hermaphrodites, and that falls under LGBTQ. So they had LGBTQ representation in episode 4. I wouldn't say it's good representation at all, but it was still an LGBTQ character because he was an hermaphrodite.
Yeah. And so I mean, it was done. We had seen different type of diversity according to the Star Wars lore, and some people cringe at it, and you cringed at it. But the thing is, the point I'm getting across is that there was diversity. There was representation in all aspects of, I guess you could say, gender. Um, on how
Yeah.
one person feels about themselves, whether they're gay or lesbian or whatever. We have that, and we also have mixing species, and when you get into the lore and you study that in a sense, or you learn more about characters and their species. Some species are not very compatible with humans. Some species are not compatible with other species, and so my point is, it's well fleshed out, well planned out, even if there's some things you're like, oh, really, you had to go there, kind of deal. And we're all going to feel that way with some point in the lore. And Stig feels this way about what he just read. And so I get it, and we all have things that we like and we don't like about Star Wars, and that's just how it goes. It's such a big, vast
I
size of lore and
I
history.
I have something to say.
Okay, you say it then. Say it.
Winter winter stroked Akbar's salmon. Carry on.
Carry on. That's my special announcement to you. Oh Lord. Okay. Willie Woodward. Yeah, with Zjor and Vader. Sorry for misspelling. Oh no, you did it well. Seems to got to Games of Thrones to me, and when they introduced Zjor with the Parisian or the Parisian power. However,
Persuasion.
Persuasion. I can't even friggin' read. I'm tired. Okay, I didn't sleep very well, but I'm here. And so you guys can laugh at my mistakes and stuff today.
It's okay. We all know you're an American, and English is
whatever
difficult for Americans.
Whatever. Don't give
Carry
me that.
on.
Don't give me that. All right, and so let's go. However, I hadn't read it since 98 and 99 OG Star Wars. That's fine, and maybe revisit it. They're and they friggin' need to just sponsor my friggin' channel, but Audible has an abridged version of Shadows of the Empire, and yeah, it's plot heavy, but there are some scenes that are taken out. However, it's a great listen. Still has a theatrical, like score and all that in there, so it's a good listen too as well.
I think the Zjor stuff in the book got added because they needed Vader and Palpatine to have some sort of conflict as well, like a reason for them to be in it.
Yeah.
Other than just chasing Luke.
Yeah, and but I still think it was well written between the two, because we have this prince and this family who's in charge of Black Sun, and so he wants his corporation, he wants his basically corporation to be number one and under the emperor itself, and so I could see that push and pull conflict right there. So, but again, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea or cup of coffee.
Yeah, and that pheromone thing that Zjor uses, it doesn't always work. I've tried it; it doesn't always work.
Oh Lord, do I even ask?
You need to make sure you have the wind at your back when you're speaking to women and stuff.
Oh Lord, Demogenize shoulder check that like button. Tally friend. Thank you so much. You're so appreciated. Let's see here. Hi, Namans. Well, the Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope was wedged in later by Lucas. Get it? You get it, Stick?
Clever.
Yes, he's like honing in on your punness. Let's see here. Talk about diversity. What a diverse group. Yes.
What a diverse group sex. That's what she meant.
Yes.
Probably read the Jedi Academy series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny. Like I said, it's like like everybody's gonna like and dislike certain points of Star Wars, or certain arcs, or certain character development, or how certain characters respond to each other and stuff. That's gonna be a given. It's gonna be a given. So
Would you agree if I said that the EU really became good with continuity and writing around the time where the new Jedi Order started? Because that's when they really upped their game when it came to continuity.
yeah, and I agree to because it was taking them a while to put everything in their database and put
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
online. And they already had a lot of stories written before then, and so they were still comprising all that information, putting down all the worlds, their names, the species from them. So they were, putting everything, aligning everything. So by the time they got that, well geared in and stuff, once we get to a new Jedi Order, it starts reaping the benefits of keeping track of the
yeah,
continuity.
yeah. Because there wasn't an official EU until the new Jedi Order, really, because the prequels had just come out, and they realized, hey, we need continuity.
Yeah.
Because I guess before the prequels, it was just Star Wars books.
Hmm.
Here's the trilogy. Here's the trilogy, right?
Yeah. They were still keeping track then with continuity, but like I said, they were still developing, putting everything down in chronological order. So yeah, there was mistakes, and then there was also mistakes with things happened, and they were very, very minor. When the PT came out, there's very, very minor mistakes that were made that later either was ignored because they were so minor, or
Yeah,
was retconned or corrected a little bit. And
yeah.
so
Because if you actually look at when people bash the EU,
yeah.
uh, the stuff they use as ammo is always stuff that came out before the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Z-Shore.
is. He's actually he uses toxin, doesn't he?
He's very, yeah. And so I loved it when Leia kneed him in his groin. That was hilarious. She's like, I am not falling for your shit. But I will say this because I
It
was,
almost worked first though, but Chewie messed it up, I
mhm.
think.
Yeah,
Bloody
Chewie was
way.
like, yeah, Chewie went in like a boss and said, get, away from her kind of deal. But the thing is I'm gonna go this because someone was saying that Leia's arc in the Disney trilogy, that it wasn't messed up, that especially her slapping Poe. And I disagree with that because she was never that type of character. However, this situation for her kneeing Shijor, that was self-defense. So there's a difference between self-defense
Yeah.
and basically slapping someone because they're not listening to your orders. And yeah, so that's not Leia for slapping someone like that. Like one of her subordinates underneath her.
Yeah, because Caesar was rapey,
Yeah.
basically. And
Mm-hmm.
Poe wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, Lord Vader, I have a question. I know you guys dislike the Force Awakens, but when it first came out, did you guys feel like you don't understand why a lot of people love this movie?
I just thought it was a remake of A New Hope.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. They just moved some plot points around and shuffled things around, but it has the same main events.
Yeah. Yeah, that's reason why I don't care for it that much is because I didn't want to write a rehash or watch a rehash of A New Hope. I already I already love the original. I'm not gonna like this one.
I I would say though that Harrison Ford was great in
Yeah,
The Force Awakens.
I think go ahead.
It whenever he was on screen, it felt like he had never left the Falcon, right? It was right back in the role. He was really good.
Yeah. And I think Harrison Ford in general basically is really good at that. Really good at, his character arcs, whoever he plays, even if he doesn't like the character. He was really good at it because he had a job to do, right?
Yeah,
And
he's a professional.
He delivered well.
And apparently, he had a lot of fun too, except for smashing his leg.
Yeah, exactly. That I felt so bad for him. All right, Willie Woodward. Well, I would argue that at Stig that Shadow of the Empire was the first Star Wars book that really showed how well the EU worked as a multimedia expanded universe. It
Yeah,
still gives MCU a run for their money.
yeah, I agree with that. But the
Yeah,
problem is, after that book, it went into all kinds of different directions. was all over the place until they reined it in almost 10 years later. But yeah, Shadows of the Empire did exactly what it was supposed to, and it fit like a glove.
Yeah. I still think it was still well put together even after Shadows of the Empire. But I do get it that the EU, was still getting constructed and put together in a good manner. So yeah, so I get what you're saying too as well. So
It always looks like Teresa is slapping a rose when she does that.
uh, all right.
Slapping Rose Tico.
Slapping Rose Tico. Yes. Let's see here. Everybody's saying hello to her. And Tommy, thank you for coming in, and you and your guinea pig collective. Good morning. What's in your mug? What's in your coffee? Or in your coffee? Yeah, what's in your coffee? So what do you make? What do
You
you
know,
put?
it's probably a guinea pig in his coffee cup.
Yeah?
Yeah, they hang around everywhere.
Yeah,
One of
they
them is
just like
probably
hanging out in the coffee mug right there. Yeah.
one of them's probably just sitting in it.
Yeah, so Shame also said Leia slapping Poe is like General Patton in World War II. He was fired, almost lost his career over it. Yeah, and someone was trying to justify that generals will slap their underlings, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but Poe was right.
Yeah.
Holdo was useless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Teresa, go check your Twitter, your DM. All right. Lucas wanted to make Shadows of the Empire. He wanted to make it into a movie. He was thinking about that. That's how he loved, or how much he liked it. I'll be honest, and this is Willie Woodward at Lord Vader. I like The Force Awakens. Oh, so they're chatting with each other. Yeah, and the thing is like, okay, so like what you like. If you like The Force Awakens, that's great. I have my own personal reasons why I don't like it and why I don't really care for the Disney trilogy. That's fine. You're gonna like what you like. Do you? So.
Do you, or do a bird, or do Akbar?
Hey, Akbar needs love too, right? Let's see here. Hey, comic chat, how are you doing? And then I know I seen Jedi Luke in here, and so he probably understands what I'm talking about when it comes to a certain individual that was saying that Leia's character it was in her character to slap Poe, and it was also in Luke's character to be cowardly or whatever. Yeah, so we still have that going on. And mind you, again, if you think that it was okay for these character arcs to be written the way they were and regressed, more power to you. I do not agree. I don't agree, because that's not what George Lucas set up for them. And that's how they weren't written that way to be that way at all. So that's just
Luke didn't even give a shit about Han dying.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. The most impactful impact part of the movie that they could have done in the Disney trilogy and would have tied in everything was Luke finding out about Han and seeing his reaction and having that moment with Luke in mourning. No, that would have been most impactful.
Han dying, that's where Luke should have snapped out of it and joined Rey.
Exactly. And I was coming to that point. That should have been the moment, because Han is his brother-in-law and his best friend. If anything can get him out of this his cowardly retreat he was in, wanting to die on the island, would be finding out that his best friend was killed.
Yeah, it's so stupid too, because he's like, I came here to die, and the Jedi will die with me and stuff. And then as soon as she shows up, he teaches her Jedi stuff.
Yeah, Jedi Luke, the film student. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so our point is that, that would have been a huge pivotal moment. We wouldn't need the Canto Bight thing. We could have had that scene. It would have tied in the sagas together. and show that Luke basically, he realizes that him cowarding is the wrong mistake, and that the loss of his best friend, his sister's, husband or whatever, his nephew's father, would snap him out, not no random chick that brings his lightsaber, his family's lightsaber, back to him.
Yeah, and then he goes, tells Kylo, I'll see you around. No, he didn't. Kylo never saw him again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and look at something real quick that I don't know if any of you guys keep read the Disney Vader comics, but I thought this was kind of intriguing, kind of like and I want Stig's opinion on this comic here as well, and then we'll go into the game. All right, let's see here. So we have this from Screen Rant, and so I would always take things with a grain of salt with this this site here. But Darth Vader gives the Skywalker name a dark legacy. Well, he already did. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. In the last issue of Marvel Star Wars, Darth Vader threatens any and all who use a name Skywalker in the entire galaxy. So go ahead and expand on that, Stig. What do you think?
They're only doing that so they can make Rey Skywalker kind of relevant.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so let's go here. So we have, and the artwork looks pretty cool there, so I'll give credit on that.
No, it looks shit. Looks like really bad. It looks like a bad cutscene from a video game from 2002 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
It's shit. They should kill the artist.
They should kill the artist.
Kill him with a brick.
Stig.
No, I'm kidding. Don't kill him. Just make him a bit.
All right, so there you go. That's Stig's take on that as well. Okay. Warning, spoilers ahead for Star Wars number 5 by Charles Soule, Jesus Saez, Arif Prianto, Don Brown, and Clayton Cowles. All right, so those are the people who are creating these Vader comics, and I hear mixed reviews on this comic here. There's people that love it. There's people that don't care for it. So be it. Darth Vader is on the hunt for his son Luke after the events of Empire Strikes Back. Vader is angered by his son's rejection of him and his refusal to turn to the dark side. Now he's searching for his son who escaped his grasp on Cloud City, and it looks as though he has the intent to kill.
Hey, hang on.
Okay.
So Vader, after episode 5, is in a rage.
Yes, he's in a rage.
And when Luke meets him, and when Luke meets him a few weeks later, I think in episode 6.
Yeah, episode 6 is like a one standard year later. So go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not angry then when he runs into Luke. So okay then.
Yeah. Maybe at the time he was, and then he calmed down since then. We don't know. But in the original lore, we do understand that Vader, according to Shadows of the Empire, is not angered really. And he's still looking for him to bring him in, to change him, to convert him to the dark side. So notice the difference here between, since we were talking about Shadows of the Empire a little bit, and those who are privy to the lore of Shadows of the Empire versus this.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago they had a comic where Luke, right after the Empire Strikes Back, used the Force to destroy a whole squadron of TIE fighters and I think Star Destroyers too. Really?
Between Empire and Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. He used the Force because they were being hunted, and he just destroyed all of them. And
this is Disney lore?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And see, I haven't done my research on Luke in this part of the timeline yet.
Yeah.
So that's
And so that means it's canon in Disney Star Wars that Luke can do that. So why didn't he do that to Kylo's fleet in episode 8 or to the Star Destroyers and stuff outside the Death Star in episode 6?
Yeah. Or why didn't he use that to crush the Emperor himself,
Yeah.
or or move things to block the Empire from hitting him with Force lightning.
Yeah. He
Or
just blew up. He just blew up the ships, but with
Mhm.
the Force. While he was in a, I don't know, one of the medical frigates or something. He just sat down and used the Force and blew up a pile of ships that were
Wow.
chasing them.
Okay.
So useful skill to have had in episode 6, right?
Yeah, we still know that he's still growing at that
Yeah.
time, that he's still learning, and that he hasn't fully harnessed his potential yet. Because even when we see him in the Thrawn trilogy, he's still growing in his ability.
Yeah, and they explained it with Luke not wanting to do it because it was a dark side thing, which is fair
Mhm.
enough. But
Yeah.
he didn't have many options in episode 6 because all of his friends were dying and he was witnessing it. And
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't make sense. Okay. I think that they don't know how to keep a clean, straight story when it comes to these Force powers.
oh, Lord Vader is correcting me and said he only destroyed TIE fighters.
Okay.
Okay, I stand corrected, but still,
It's still the same action, though. It's just
yeah,
different. Yeah.
if you
Okay.
destroy 20 TIE fighters, you should be able to destroy one Star Destroyer. I don't know.
Yeah, and then when you see him look out on the fleets fighting out there in Return of the Jedi, you would think, well, because he's in desperation, and we do see him teeter back and forth from bordering on the dark side, whatever, and he even uses it, the force choke, force push on the Gamorreans. Then he hasn't learned yet that using dark side powers is bad, and so this is why it contradicts. So. Oh well, I digress from that. Let's go on. When those under his command alert him to a potential Skywalker sighting, Vader heads straight there, only to be met with disappointment. However, he does make sure to leave a dire warning to those who would try and wrongly take the name Skywalker. Interesting. We know in the original lore that Luke, there is a bounty out for him. We know that. We know
Yeah,
that.
makes sense. But all of a sudden, there's
A death threat.
a pile of Skywalkers, or people are claiming they're Skywalkers. I don't know what's going on here, but
Maybe Skywalker is like the name John. It's just like everywhere.
well, it probably is now.
Probably. Okay. In his own comic series from the writer Greg Pak, Vader revisited Tatooine in Darth Vader #1, which I kind of was like, yeah, I heard about that one. Seeking to push those who made his son weak, punish those who made his son weak. Huh.
How does he know Luke grew up on Tatooine?
Probably after when they killed Brew and
Yeah, but
Owen, but I don't know.
they have no clue Luke lived there.
Yeah. It's just
All
that
they
where the
knew
droid
was,
went.
yeah, they just tracked the droids.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even know they were named. Yeah, they're named Lars.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
why would Luke? Why would Vader go to Tatooine to do anything that has to do with Luke? It makes no sense.
He never wanted to go to Tatooine to find the droids. He sends bounty hunters. It's established in the original lore that he really didn't want to revisit it. I think he did one time revisit it, but it was only just to like harness some dark side energy and anger to make him stronger. Um, and it even says like in the lore when Obi-Wan talks with Qui-Gon and he discovers Vader survives, he's like, should I take Luke and run, leave
Yeah,
Tatooine? And
but
Qui-Gon's the Vader we know won't revisit Tatooine in fear of waking up Anakin.
yeah, but like I said, there's no way Vader would know Luke was from Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's read on. Finding no one there to punish Luke's uncle Owen and Aunt Beru had already been killed by the Empire. Vader receives a tip from his forces alerting him to the potential location of his son in a cantina nearby. However, the Luke Skywalker they found is nothing more than a cheap smuggler using Luke's fame as a pilot who destroyed the Death Star as a means to get work. Wow. Okay, so Luke already created a big name for himself. That's pretty friggin' bold for someone to do that, impersonate someone like that, like Luke.
Basically, in order to get a job, he takes the name of someone who's wanted by bounty
Yeah.
hunters.
That and
That's pretty stupid. It's like, hey everybody, I'm Charles Manson. Give me a job.
Oh my god, but we know that Luke isn't like Charles Manson, but I get it. And yeah, so I mean, but the thing is like even when you read the book Shadows of Mindor, where we have the book is, I want to say confusing, but Luke's like I am not what people think I am kind of deal. So he has that conflict of becoming the hero in that book. And so some people like it, some people don't. I like a lot of the stories because he deals with a lot of the dark side in there, and being, and then meeting, someone that knew his father from the Clone Wars, and then being told that he's not like the Jedi of the old because he's not afraid of the dark. And so there's a lot of compelling story and weight there. And so by then, when we get between these two movies, Luke is already a established hero.
Yeah, but wasn't Shadows of Mindor kind of written as one of those hollow vid
Yeah, exactly.
episodes? So it's basically a Star Wars, well,
Story.
in Star Wars universe TV show.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that book. I really do. I love the cover on it. Cover
Yeah.
looks amazing. I couldn't wait to read it.
Yeah.
And it took me almost 6 months to finish the damn thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's if there's one EU novel I really hate, it's that one. Luke
Oh, okay.
Skywalker's in the Shadows of Mindor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'll take Wedge and the Chicken any day over that.
Wow, that sounds a lot for you. Yeah, me, it wasn't my favorite, but I do like some points in there. And I do like how he, how we're getting Luke distinguished as being a different Jedi, from the new order that he's going to create versus how the old Jedi were. So I like that portion of it. I like some of the story. I like some of the inside dealings that he's deals with. So to compare it with The Last Jedi, I need to take a drink. Luke in Shadows of Mindor is better written than Luke in The Last Jedi. That's all I have to say with that. So, and you probably would agree, because even the worst part of, the EU is way better than The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So, all right. Not only that, but before he leaves the cantina, he leaves the other patrons with a dark threat warning. Wow. One that perhaps taints the name Skywalker from ever being taken lightly again. Okay. Wow. So basically, we're seeing the destruction of the Skywalker name here as well.
So, Anakin Skywalker, his name being associated with killing kids and shit, that didn't do any damage to the name, but this does. Killing a smuggler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's a little clip right here. Vader, claiming the name of Luke Skywalker, also claims his crimes against the Empire. This is the result. Skywalkers die. But we get in the movies. Go ahead. Sorry.
That one though is fair enough. That's actually quite a cool line.
Yeah.
But still, it makes no sense. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Because Vader shouldn't be on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that Vader had a thing against Anakin, against his former self. But once he found out about his child surviving, Anakin started coming to the surface again. He started caring. He wanted that family that he wanted to protect when we seen him in Revenge of the Sith. So this starts bringing him back. The redemption starts during um, Empire.
Yeah, at the end
And
of Empire.
he didn't want him to. Yeah, he said he will join us or die, but in reality, in the very surface, in the very core of Vader, he was proud that he had a son. He was proud that he is a father. The good that Luke senses in Vader is basically Anakin coming forth because he realized that he didn't lose his family. So
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't make sense for him to die, want him to die, wanting to kill him.
after Episode 4, it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But they don't hire people that know Star Wars to write Star Wars anymore.
Yeah. And so I see this kind of messing up that arc, that redemption arc that starts accumulating between both the movies. And Shadow
Yeah.
of the Empire does it way better because we still see him, we still see the compassion, because Vader even destroys Zejor's fleet to save his son. Because there's that compassion that's still left him, that his love of his family, and that's what the arc is about, is love of family. And love of family can take you to the wrong side of of making bad decisions and stuff, and the good side of making the right decisions. So now we're seeing that we're making the right decisions.
Love of Family took a really dark turn in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and we're not going there, but I get it. All right, Vader's words are direct, final, and to a lethal point. To take the name Skywalker means the full wrath of Vader and the might of the Empire bearing down on them, which obviously is not good news for the actual Luke Skywalker. However, going deeper, it seems as though Vader's words are not just a warning, but also a fact of a dark history that details a tragedy of Skywalker lineage. Skywalkers die. Oh, there we go. There we go. The nihilism begins.
Yeah, well, this isn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
Sorry, but this isn't the Star Wars George created.
Yeah.
This is fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why nobody has heard of any of the people that are writing Star Wars today before they started writing Star Wars.
Yeah.
The people who wrote the old Star Wars were already well established writers with
bestsellers, all that. Yeah. So this is where the nihilism of Luke's character, Anakin's character, it still continues. That's evident right here. Skywalkers die. Everybody dies, right? But the arc of the Skywalkers is love, redemption, hope. And it's well written in George Lucas era of Star Wars. So up to this point in the Star Wars timeline, Shmi Skywalker, the first known Skywalker and mother of Anakin Skywalker, died during the events of Attack of the Clone, having been captured and tortured by the Tusken Raiders on Tatooine. Yes, this caused Anakin to drift to the dark side. Yeah, we start seeing him fall, but that was also the manipulation of Palpatine. So Palpatine had a lot to do with it as well, which would ultimately lead to his complete corruption by it, which led to the death of his wife Padme in his anger. Well, this was a small catalyst, but the big, larger impact was Palpatine's manipulation. If Palpatine was not there planting seeds in his head, do you really think that Anakin would have fallen?
Nope.
So they're saying like this and his anger is the one that made him fall. No, they're forgetting the pivotal, the most key, important person in this, and that's Palpatine.
Yes, Palpatine caused the anger.
Yes.
And he was messing with his head for years.
Mm-hmm. He even caused like the separation of Anakin's trust with, even Obi-Wan Kenobi, and even the Council, even the Jedi. So he was already causing that split by boosting Anakin's ego.
Yep. So. Yeah, this is a shit comic written by shit authors for a shit company And it's being shilled by a shit website.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I summed it up.
There you go. And so basically we know that, Padme gives birth to the twins, and at the end of Revenge of the Sith, after his duel with Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker died. Well, yeah, and we know that Obi-Wan thought that he left Anakin there to die, and that he died. And we know that him finding out later what had happened and Vader's survival, really put like the fear into Obi-Wan, until Qui-Gon squished it and said, no, you can stay on Tatooine, because Vader will never visit Tatooine for a fear of waking Anakin. And so we know that in the lore. When it's all laid out, Skywalkers truly do die terrible deaths, confirming the Dark Lord's words here in this issue. Not really, because we don't know how Luke Skywalker dies or even Leia dies, but they are basically the hope, and all that is good with the Skywalker name. They're the ones that also redeemed the name and gave Anakin, Skywalker, I guess you could say, a better outlook when he was alive, I guess you could say. So they really redeemed the Skywalker name. So in this new lore, they didn't do shit. They didn't, at Luke's redemption of his father and Luke being the hope basically was casted aside.
This article, though, it's just clickbait.
Yes, it is.
There's nothing in it. They just mention a small scene from
Yeah.
a comic, and then they write all kinds of mumbo jumbo around it.
Yeah.
To try to justify an article.
Yeah, and this was written 2 hours ago by Kevin Erdman.
And I bet you didn't spend 2 hours writing it.
Yeah, and basically this shares, the direction that, because people are like, oh well, let's go ahead and hopefully they reboot the sequel trilogy, but if they do, they still destroyed some characters, and they still have a lot of lore that shares that.
Even if they reboot the sequel trilogy, Luke dying from a Force overdose is still, well, the possibility of dying from a Force overdose is still canon in that Star Wars universe, as is the hyperspace ramming. So they don't fix a damn thing.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can find my spot again. Let's just finish it. Let's see here. Where did it go? So we know that the annihilation of the Skywalker name is being continued here. It seems as though the quickest way to get on Darth Vader's hit list at the moment and the time would be claiming to be a Skywalker. So it certainly seems that no one else will be trying that tactic anytime soon. However, it does cause one to wonder, how would Vader react at the end of The Rise of Skywalker with Rey taking on the Skywalker name? Oh, wow. Stieg, what do you think? She already just appropriated the Skywalker name. She is a Palpatine. So how do you think Vader would agree with this?
Vader can't do shit about Rey because she's invincible.
Mm-hmm.
She'd beat his ass in 5 minutes less.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the end of that. So again, this is more evidence, more proof that how the direction they are taking the Skywalker name, and basically they, what was supposed to be the redemption of basically the Skywalker name through Anakin, and the hope through Luke, and and I guess you could say the spunkiness, hope, and determination of Leia is all getting thrown out the door, or out into hyperspace, out into, so we're seeing the destruction, the annihilation of the Skywalker name continuing. So let's go ahead.
Well, let them. It's not doing them any good. Last year, I think the second highest Star Wars product on paper, comic or novel, was Marvel 108. I think that was the second highest one.
Oh, so let's just knock over my mic when I'm trying to grab it. So here it is.
Yep, that one.
Oh,
actually, I have mine in the same wrapping.
Yeah. And so I know we're supposed to talk about Shadow of the Empires next week. I'm just going to just say a little bit right now. So I compare and contrast, and there you go, Stig. There's that word again.
One. Yeah, and you
Of the
said
original lore.
original lore has been 4 times.
Yeah. And
You know,
and
I'm going to explain this to the chat. I
yeah.
noticed something a while ago. Uh, you know, the American Pie movie
Mm-hmm.
when Alison Hannigan's character says, "This one time at band camp," Alora does the same thing. She does this one time in the original lore.
Yeah. So that's that. And so he pointed that out. So we had a good giggle about that. But hey, that's again, I compare and contrast, and I'm about the original lore. So there you go. That's my platform. That's my foundation of my platform for this channel. And yeah, so we're looking at and comparing Shadows of the Empire to what's being developed right now. And we basically see in Shadows of the Empire that he doesn't want to kill Luke. He wants him alive. He wants to turn him. He has, there's a lot invested into this relationship that he's trying to create because that's his son. He always wanted a family. That was his thing. He even said to Padme that was the best thing that he was ever told. I'm paraphrasing in when he found out that she was pregnant. And so his love of family, the love of the family in the Skywalkers is very profound. That's what the Skywalker is about. The love of family either led you astray, like Anakin, or it pulled everything together, like with Luke. And I think they're missing this point. Actually, I don't think, I know they're missing this point because they're continuing to make the Skywalkers look like failures for the sake of Rey.
I bet you they haven't even read Shadows of the Empire.
Probably not. Let's see here. Just an update on the film student. He kept getting mad, and I was replying so fast. And I said he was doing the same, and he just stopped when I called him back on it. Okay. Oh God, I muted him, but I get it. I'll go read everything that's going on after I'm done here.
I just thought it was interesting that he wants to be a script writer,
Mm-hmm.
and his grammar and all was terrible. I mean, if you're going to write a script, at least master your own language to some extent.
Yeah,
It's like
I know. You
it's
friggin'
like
really.
watching a 4th grader try
Yeah,
English.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I seriously. I mean, you just friggin' tore into him on that, and I was laughing. I was like, "Get him, Steak, get him." I mean, you're just so direct and to the point. And he was like, he didn't say anything either. So, yeah. So yeah, so Shadow of the Empires basically is it's well loved by the majority of fans. I mean, so and it
Yeah,
has great development. It does. And it really gets, like I said, into the Skywalker family, and what Anakin really wanted was a family and to protect that family. And
yeah,
so
and it shows what they're willing to go through to find Han,
mhm.
which is certainly character,
Yeah,
well, not development, but it's character driven, I guess, because all of
yeah.
them have the same goal. They want to save their friend.
Exactly. And so, so this right here between what's going on in the development now versus what had happened in the original lore, you guys make your own decision. I made mine already. I love the heart of Star Wars, and that's the original lore where, we do know that George Lucas had some, development in the EU, no matter how small or big it was, depending on, novel by novel. And that's fine.
I mostly like the tart of Star Wars, which is Darth Talon.
Okay. Yes, we know that. Darth Talon. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so let's get on to the game now. So we're going to talk about the Death Star and how the plans were, found and stolen, and how the game ties into that, and Jan Ors and Kyle Katarn. So again, like some of you guys know, I'm not privy into game lore as well as I am just with the novels and all of that and the all the lore, but I do understand the game lore, but Stig has played the game, so he has experience. So go ahead and start giving us a review on the game.
Yeah, the Dark Forces was released in '95. One of the first games released on a CD-ROM, I believe.
Yeah.
First-person shooter featuring a former stormtrooper turned mercenary employed by the rebels called Katarn. I think most EU fans or Star Wars fans in general like Col Katarn and his companion Janors. I mean Janors, so I mean Janors. The first mission in the game though is you steal the Death Star plans. It's like the intro mission. But like every video game out there, the video game is not canon because the events can change based on how you play. So the canon one is the novel that I do believe you have.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game, after you steal the Death Star plans, you get a cutscene, and they say soon afterwards the Death Star is destroyed, and blah blah blah. And then another sinister plan by the Empire is set into motion. It's the Dark Trooper. Yeah, there it is. Wait a minute, do you have all of them?
Yes, I have all of them. Take a moment of silence.
Yeah, I'm looking at them with jealousy.
He's like dark side is leaking out of Obi-Wan Kenobi right now because he's jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've beaten the games though.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. So go ahead and share more.
Yeah, Dark Forces is a first-person shooter. It was supposed to be like a little Star Wars Doom game. It's way more story-based than Doom. There's a variety of missions. You get to visit a lot of planets from the Star Wars movies and planets that are just mentioned in the movies. Because you do go to the Anoat system for one. Also a very innovative game. The games that came before it was Wolfenstein and Doom and all that, and this game was the first-person shooter game, I believe, that lets you look up and down.
Okay.
And crouch and jump, and also the first-person shooter game to employ to let you use grenades, mines, and have weapons with alternate fire modes. So it had a lot of new stuff in it.
Yeah.
And you also had an inventory. You could have night vision goggles and the like. Yeah, and a med pack, I think. You could heal yourself.
Yeah.
Story is basically the Empire are making robots called the Dark Troopers.
Yes.
And they, as you investigate, you find early versions of them, which are basically just skeletons with stabby weapons, and then you get phase 2 and then phase 3, which is the final Dark Trooper version, which is kick ass. They're awesome and hard to kill. During this, you also encounter Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Who locks you up in his ship, and you have to fight a monster thing with just your fists. And Vader also hires Boba Fett to track you down and kill you, because you're becoming a problem later in the game. And you have a shootout with Boba Fett at Coruscant, actually. And it wasn't called Coruscant at the time.
Yeah.
It was called the Imperial Planet.
Yeah, our Imperial City and Imperial Planet, basically, you see a lot more back then. And then once George Lucas used Coruscant from the Thrawn trilogy, then you start seeing that more and more.
Yeah, it's also tied a little bit into Return of the Jedi, because in Return of the Jedi, the rebels have an officer named Crix Madine,
yeah,
who is an Imperial defector.
Yeah.
In the game, Kyle is the one that gets him, basically.
Okay.
He finds him and then gets him to the rebels.
Okay.
And the novels, I think, had that in them. The Kriegsmarine stuff.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the video games are not the canon story. The novels are. That
Yeah.
was the rule with the EU. As for the game itself, I'm not gonna lie and say it's aged well, but the first one has aged better than the sequel, in my opinion. And if you want to play it, you could get it on GOG.com, a site owned by the people who made the Witcher games. They sell old games there, and they work on new computers, and they're cheap. And what else? Something else I was going to say. Oh, if you don't want to play it, but you want to see a playthrough of it, Callum Johns, who is a regular on the EU clubs that Alora and I are on, has done a playthrough of it on his channel.
Yeah, and I will try my best to put his link in the description below so you guys can go check him out as well, because he is also knowledgeable in the EU as well.
Oh yeah, good guy. And watching his playthroughs are fun.
Yes. Yes. All right. So what would you rate the game then? I know, it's not timely because it's a PC game, and I understand that.
Yeah,
but when you played it, I mean, and even looking back and at it now, what would you rate it?
Well, for its time, right? I need to judge it for when it came out.
Yeah. Of course.
So back then it was probably an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Now though, with the it's almost 30 years ago. Comparing it to the games of today, I'd give it a 5. But if you're an EU fan and you can get into the old graphics and stuff, it's absolutely a good Star Wars game.
Yeah.
The level design in this one is kind of terrible though, because it's like the old shooters. They're maze-like.
Yeah.
So they don't look like real Imperial, facilities or anything. Look like. Yeah. Later on in the series, though, they fixed that, and every level looks like a real Star Wars place.
Yeah. So we have Kyle Katarn in here, and he does graduate from the military academy. So if you guys don't know his background, and but when he learns about his father's death, he departs for home, and he learns why his father dies, and that basically starts his defection from the Empire. Correct?
No, his father dies in the second game.
No, I'm just talking about, and I'm not talking about the game. I'm just talking about general lore.
Yeah, he. I don't remember why he defects. Actually. Yeah. But his father is a Jedi, former Jedi.
Yeah.
Living on Solon, I think. On a farm.
So he does learn. I'm just going to go ahead and review some of this. He does learn the ugly truth about why his father died, and so he swears revenge on the Empire.
Yeah.
So Kyle Katarn does that. So we start seeing a lot of his deflection from the Empire, which kind of, in a sense, reflects a little bit of Finn. I mean, if they could have done a story better for him, they could have, took an example of Kyle Katarn, even if they're not going to use a character, taking that example and writing that character better. There was so much potential, even with Finn, on the direction they could have took him to build more story.
If they had done the job right with Rogue One, they could have had the Kyle Katarn trilogy, and they would have had him and Jan Ors, right?
Yeah.
And Jan Ors was an Asian. They whitewashed an Asian and renamed her Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
And then they call the fans racist for not liking Rose Tico. Well, we weren't the ones that whitewashed an Asian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she has the exact same background as Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
And the same outfit.
True. I mean, it's uncanny, right?
Yeah.
Very uncanny. So we do have him.
And that's the one people keep saying, yeah, well, Rogue One was really good. It's a ripoff.
Yeah.
It's they plagiarized themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's so much potential and stuff, and I think retelling the story as it was meant to be and originally written is a lot more has a lot more weight to it than redesigning it and creating a 2.0 rehash of it. It's more genuine to go ahead and give us the actual story than do the rewrite of it. And
Yeah.
so that's how I see that. So
Yeah, it's just that they had to cook up something fast, so they just ripped off and edited a better story.
yeah. Jedi or Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight Outcast and Jedi Academy, we get to see Luke both building his Jedi Academy and then him training the students.
Yes, he's correct. And those two games are the best ones, in my opinion. That's when the levels start looking like real places.
Yeah.
And you get a better story. A lot of the characters from the movies and the EU are included.
Yeah.
In Jedi Academy, in Jedi Academy, you play as Jaden Core, who is Kyle's apprentice, one of two apprentices, actually.
Okay. Yes. Correct.
You have Luke in it. You have you do a mission with Chewie. You do a mission with Wedge. Corin Horn is mentioned in it.
Yeah.
You don't see him though, but he's mentioned.
Yeah.
You get to go to Korriban. Marco Ragnos is heavily featured, the old Sith Lord.
Yeah.
You get to see Tanab, Chandrilla. The Nogri are in it. It's a lot of fun using the Force to throw Nogris into the giant fan and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yes, and Boba Fett is in it. Jaden Core has a showdown with Boba Fett on Ord Mantell.
Yeah.
It ends in a draw, even though you win. Kind of.
Games are so much fun. All right, so we have Kyle Katarn, and his opportunity comes when the Alliance offers him a nearly suicide mission, breaking into the Imperial resource facility on Danuta. Find the Death Star plans and bring them out. So basically, that begins his arc within Dark Forces, and he deflects out of anger and revenge for his father, and so we see that.
The Death Star plans mission at the beginning is pretty much just a tutorial mission, which is a bit silly because the plans are guarded by like 10 stormtroopers and an officer. That's it.
Yeah.
Not really a suicide mission in the games.
Yeah.
But like I said, the book is what's canon. So
yeah.
That goes for the Force Unleashed as well. I know a lot of people go, the guy, Star Killer, is really powerful and blah blah blah. He isn't. He is powerful in the game because it's a game, but in the novel he's not that powerful, and the novel is what counts because the game has two endings.
Yeah. So during this era, so tell me your thoughts about with Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors and any other character that they interact with during this series. Stig.
Well, for the most part, in the first game, Jan Ors gives you missions, basically mission briefings. It's her and Mon Mothma mostly. And whenever you're done with the mission, you return to where the ship is, and Jan picks you up.
Yeah,
that's pretty much that's pretty much the story of the game, or how the story is told, because it's an old game.
Yes.
Gameplay before story back then. Once you get to the second Dark Forces game, though, which is Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight,
Mm-hmm.
That's where Kal Katarn gets his Jedi powers. He gets it from the
Yeah.
Valley of the Jedi.
Yes, and I was going to just talk about that. So go on.
Yeah, and he learns. Well, he gets a holocron, I think, from his dad.
Mm-hmm.
He finds it at his farm after Jarek, a Dark Jedi, and his disciples, I guess,
Yeah.
kills his dad.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'll expand on this right here. So when Kyle Katarn gets the disc, the plans of the Death Star, the disc gives Kyle more than he bargains for. Basically, it gives him the location of the map of the Valley of the Jedi. So we already know that the Emperor and Vader hoard all this information, hide all the secret or all the locations of previous Jedi temples, etc. And a place where his father had stumbled upon and kept it secret. Now it's a race between Kyle and the agents of the Empire to see who can get to the map and the valley first. So basically, this is from the Rebel Agent, the second novel in the trilogy. And it goes side by side with the game. Even though the game is what if playing, it's still connected to the lore very well.
Yeah, it still sticks with the basis of the story, and
Yeah.
But yeah, the Valley of the Jedi is a unique spot in the galaxy. It's basically a force fountain, really,
Yeah.
that gives people force powers if you enter it, and that's what Kyle does. He infuses himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did in the second game, anyway. And he goes on basically a revenge quest to deal with Jarek.
Yeah.
And treks through the galaxy. You fight his disciples one by one at various points. Boss fights. All of them are different. One of them, I think, is a cyborg that's just floating around. He doesn't have any legs.
Yeah.
You defeat them one by one, and then you defeat Jarek. It's a very basic plot in that game as well.
Yeah.
But more story because it has live actors in the cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember their names, but they're in front of a blue screen, and this is early days. People have to remember that it doesn't look that good, really doesn't. But it's still awesome.
Yeah. All right, so the Valley of the Jedi. So here's a little bit of history of that. So this is where the thought bomb was activated by Lord Khan. And so basically when Kyle Katarn goes there, doesn't he release the spirits from the thought bomb, as I remember, like he frees them because he discovers a thought bomb, and that thought bomb basically holds those spirits of the Sith and the Jedi, and they held them for like thousands of years, from what I'm getting at. But so the Valley of the Jedi is a significant place, and that's where where Darth Bane basically gives Lord Khan the secrets to the thought bomb, which he uses, and then basically traps everybody. And then we see the breakaway of the Sith and then the Rule 2 coming into play. So
well, they would have had to retroactively make that fit with Dark Forces, though, which is a cool thing, because that they tied it into the Bane novels, which came out like 15 years after Dark Forces and Jedi Knight, or 10 years probably. Yeah. It's cool like that they did that, because it fits like a glove.
It did.
Yeah. Awesome. Remember when Star Wars made sense? That was fun.
Yeah, and we just proved that right there. Is like, even no matter like which part of the era came out, or what time frame or whatever in what came first or last or whatever, they always went back and tried to tie everything in. And if there was minor discrepancies, then they try to correct those as well. And again, example, when the PT came out, those minor little tiny pieces that were kind of like misconstrued because of the prequel trilogy, then was corrected or just left alone because it wasn't very significant. So, they tried their best to tie everything in. And again, like we said before, once we get to the New Jedi Order era of Star Wars is when we start seeing the benefits of the canonicity, or, everything coming in coherently and making
Yeah,
sense.
and I think the novels stopped after the Jedi Knight novel, because the Jarek story is in the final one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they never novelized Jedi Knight 2
Yeah.
and Jedi Academy.
Soul Assassin.
Yeah, Jedi Knight 2 though, that's where the game really becomes great.
Yes.
The series, because that one feels like Star Wars through and through. It's one of the best Star Wars gaming experiences I've had. And you go to a pile of planets. It starts off with Kyle and Jan investigating something, and then Desan shows up with a. I don't think he's a Trandoshan. I'm not sure. He's a lizard-like dark Jedi. They seemingly kill Jan Ors and beat the shit out of Kyle because he has cut himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
And he goes to the Valley of the Jedi to start training with the Force again, to become Force sensitive again, I guess. And he doesn't know that that's what they wanted him to do, because he just led him to the Valley of the Jedi. Desan, though, creates a small army of Reborn, I think they're called, which is Dark Jedi. He infuses people with the Force.
Yeah.
And Kyle travels around looking for clues for Jan, looking for Desan. You get to do a very long mission with Lando, voiced by Billy D. Williams in the game.
Yeah.
On Bespin.
That's
my favorite part of the game. You get to have lightsaber duels on the bridges of Bespin and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the Carbonite freezing chamber too.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. That's Jarek, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And Kyle fights Jarek's apprentice called Tavion. Tough fight. After you win, he force chokes her a little and lets her go. Then,
right here, look at.
Yeah, that's I don't remember her name. That's one of Jarek's apprentices.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. I'm just giving pictures here. I think this is the thought bomb that he discovers, I believe, from what I'm getting. I have to go back. Yeah, it is. So I have to go back and I plan on rereading in these and doing, instead of breaking them up, I'm just going to do one entire lore review on all three of them. So there we go. So that's connection to Darth Bane trilogy. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
Yes, and that's what I love about Star Wars is that there's so much thought and care taken into it, even in the early development when they were still trying to put the continuity together.
Yeah, that's the disabled guy.
And there we go. Here's Jan Ors.
There's Jan Ors.
Let me see if I can find a better picture of her, so you guys can see the similarities between her and Jan Erso.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And well, in the second game, you team up with Luke in that one too.
Yeah.
For a lengthy mission, which is awesome. Really good story in Jedi Knight 2. I'd say if you want to get into that series, you can easily start with Jedi Knight 2, because that one has aged very well. And I believe that one and Jedi Academy just got re-released on PlayStation 4, I think.
Yeah. So this so this just basically shows like the connection and how well everything's tied in, and Luke taking, with Kyle Katarn, and there's Jan Ors. You don't see her face right there, and Leia.
Yep.
And of course the droids. Let me see.
Same glasses as you see on Jan Erso's head. through most of the movie.
Yeah, I know there is a better shot of her. Maybe it's in the other one. Let me see. I could pull it up too, but I mean, there we go. Well, this is them right here.
Yeah, smooching around,
Yeah.
listening to the soundtrack of Dirty Dancing. Like
Yeah.
nobody puts Jan in the corner.
And no one puts Jan in the corner. Nope. Yeah. So I know you're more privy to the game than the trilogy, right? The books.
Yes, because the books are. I read them once, but they were like scanned, so I don't have them anymore. It's way back.
Yeah.
Well, you know, getting them now is tricky.
It is, and pricey too.
Yeah, people charge like $100 for them and stuff. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So basically, out of the characters, who are your favorites? I know Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors were like leading in the series and stuff, but out of overall, like, how would you rate each of these characters? I know I like your rate system, and I like how hard you get with the rating. Like you're not soft, you're not easy on your rating at all. So if you want to go ahead,
you have to look at the stuff that aren't so great either.
exactly.
Well, for the first game, Kyle Katarn is pretty much it's just you holding a gun, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really become a character until the next games, but I guess Kyle Katarn as a character, 9 and 10.
Okay.
Solid, but like I said, it doesn't start until the second game, though.
Yeah.
And in the final game, Jedi Academy, he is basically training you. You get to play as Jaden Core, and Kyle is your master, basically.
Yeah.
So it has an arc, actually. He goes from not being able to use the Force to learning about it to falling to the dark side a bit, then going back and then becoming a master. As for Jan Ors, pretty cool. A 7 for her, maybe.
Yeah.
Simply because she's not that fleshed out.
Yeah, I know. Too bad, though, right? Because she had a lot of potential.
Yeah, and even the EU didn't use her much.
Yeah.
She's popped by and said hi now and again. And Kyle mentioned her, but I would have loved to have had a Jan Ors game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just Jan Ors doing flying jobs and doing spy jobs and rebel agent stuff. That would have been awesome.
I know you said before, Stig, that I could probably cosplay or pull off a Jan Ors if I cosplay her.
Yes, everyone in the chat. Type 1 if you agree. Alora could cosplay Jan Ors.
Yeah. So okay. So with the storyline and all, I know what you would prefer, and I already know your stance between Rogue One and this right here. But go ahead and give your view because since we know Rogue One is basically a 2.0 of the story, just like The Force Awakens a 2.0 with A New Hope. So go ahead and share with us your thoughts between the original Dark Forces and what we see in Rogue One. I'm like putting you on the hot seat here, darling.
If we're going by the game and Rogue One is better because the game isn't that story based.
Yeah.
If we go by the novel, which was canon,
yeah,
that is better than Rogue One because that one made sense. Because if you think about it, at the end of Rogue One, when you get that cool Vader scene,
yeah,
which they just added late, actually, just to have a cool scene. There was no point in it, and you can tell that they didn't think it through. Because in Episode 4, Vader tells Leia several transmissions were beamed aboard this ship by rebel spies. Well, 2 hours earlier, he was chasing a floppy disk, basically, that was carried physically on board Leia's ship.
Yeah.
So it wasn't several plans being beamed aboard her ship. It was one disk with plans being carried onto her
Yeah.
ship.
That's where they really broke the lore right there. Is it's something very small and minor can
Yeah.
do that, can, because every little fracture can lead to the foundation, like detrimental to the foundation. And so we know in A New Hope, and then also in the lore, that the plans were basically transmitted. But then when we see now in Rogue One, it was carried on, and it doesn't make sense. And I've seen many people try to explain over and over again, but it doesn't. Their explanation
No.
and their theory does not fit well with A New Hope.
No, all they had to do is have the Vader scene on the planet. Maybe Vader killing Jyn Erso
Mm-hmm.
and Cassian. That would have made sense. And then they just managed to beam the plans onto Leia's ship.
Yeah.
That would have made sense. You'd still have a badass scene, and you'd
Yeah.
have Vader actually killing some main characters too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so have
Actually,
that.
you know what would have been even cooler though?
Mm-hmm.
If all the main characters from the Rogue One mission were in that tower thing, all of them surviving up until then Vader shows up and kills the shit out of all of them,
Yeah.
and they manage to beam it up. That would have been even cooler, because then you have Vader kill all of them.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have just been no-name rebels.
And the thing is that they put Vader in there last minute, and we see him using the Force, and we see him using his lightsaber, being badass, because that's what we want to see. Like, everybody wants to see Vader, fighting against the rebels, hunting down Jedi. There's a lot of opportunities there. But
Imagine having Vader fight Donnie Yen. Missed opportunity right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you could have just gotten past Donnie Yen after a cool fight, killed the crap out of the others one by one.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is,
that would have been cooler, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people in the chat might agree with me too.
Yeah. And then the thing is like, okay, so we see him go full Force, basically, pun intended, to get the plans. However, he's using the Force. Why don't he just Force grab the person running with the plans?
Yeah, and just pull them closer.
Yeah, and so that doesn't make sense on it in itself, because they weren't supposed to physically transport the plans. And why the hell is Leia there?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense either.
Nope. But then again, they're not trying to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to make people cheer and not think. I agree with Vader on this. Don Yen's character was very interesting.
Was it Chimway or something like? I forget his name.
Did you see the Rogue One panel where the other Asian guy who doesn't speak English well?
Oh, okay.
He got asked a question, and this was before the movie was released. He was asked the question about how does your character develop through this story, and he looks at Donnie Yen and he says, "When he die, I get pissed." And
that's
Kathleen Kennedy was sitting there just, no. You could see her just get deflated because the guy spoiled it.
Yeah.
When he die, I get angry.
Yeah.
And the whole panel just went quiet.
Yes, exactly. Now I remember. At first I was like, what are you talking about? But now I remember, because that was like one of those like, uh-oh moments, like, we're giving this away. Yeah. So that was funny. That was funny. And I think it's kind of sad when you have this like Force sensitive character that basically is from a different Force society, and basically that's what he is. And we learned in the original lore that there were different Force societies. Like, we had the Barando Sages, we have the Fallen Nazis, we have the Night Witches, or the Dark Witch, or whatever from I'm sorry, I just totally butchered them, I'm sorry. But we know that there was different the Antine monks, so we knew there was different Force societies, rightfully so. just like the Jedi is a Force society in a sense, and the Sith as well. You
Yeah,
know,
and
so that's rightfully so. And they could have done so much with that. So
yeah,
much with that.
they had the chance to have a martial art expert like Donnie Yen fight Vader. It would be almost like Episode One Maul against Vader,
Hmm.
and they just didn't do it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Mixed opportunities right there. And so, yeah, I agree with Luke Skywalker. I never thought of Vader fighting Sharut. There we go. His name is Sharut. But it's an interesting idea, especially if Sharut was saying, I am one with the Force. The Force is with me kind of deal. Yes. We could have seen like a different Force society type person fight, someone that was trained in the Jedi and dark side, so Sith side, and see how that would play out. And then I'm reviewing Legacy or Fate of the Jedi. I'm just listening right now to Outcast, where Luke goes into exile. And so he begins his journey, retracing Jason Solo's tracks, on him visiting all the different Force societies out there to learn different ways of the Force. And it would be interesting because we do see Luke end up fighting, or even Ben Solo was fighting the Baron Dosages so that they can go see their master basically. And it's very interesting to see how these Force societies handle and use a Force versus even a Jedi. And so again, that goes back to my point. It would have been a great thing to see between Vader and Sharut.
Yeah, and also the Jedi Academy game, which is my favorite in the series. That one is basically a love letter to the EU
Yeah.
because you get to visit all these EU planets. You get Chandrila, Tanab. I think it's like almost 20 planets you get to visit, and you get to
Yeah.
see the Nogri and fight the Nogri, and
Yeah.
Corn Horn is mentioned. It's awesome. Corellia too. I think that's the first time you see Corellia
Hmm.
on any screen, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so very interesting. So yeah, so I thought it, put some little bit of game talk in the EU lore, and so I'm glad we got to go through, the Dark Forces, a bit of the lore, a bit of some of the characters, and go into the game because this is all very vital to the original lore, even if games are, what if kind of deals, like, it's based upon the lore, but how you play is not exactly how it was, the lore went.
Yeah, the games though always followed current lore.
Yeah, exactly. And just to revisit just how the Death Star plans were, brought, and who was, who are the catalysts behind that, to where Luke, was able to destroy the Death Star. So there's a lot of weight that's carried into this. And when you look back at, like even with the Alpha Squadron or whatever, saying that Luke wasn't significant, it was Jen Erso that was the actual hero of the Death Star being destroyed. Again, we go back to Skywalkers are dead, that they're trying to destroy the heroic deeds, the hope, the redemption arc of the Skywalkers, the family ties of the Skywalkers. And so this is
Well,
why.
he's straight, white, and male. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we know that. Yeah, and so this is where my why my heart basically stays with the original lore.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Skywalker in the chat says, yeah, Vader's castle was in Vajun.
mhm,
You actually go to see Vajun
mhm.
on, it's a lengthy mission on Jedi Academy, and
Yeah,
you also go to Biss. So, like I said, it's infused with EU stuff. You're
yeah,
gonna love it when you play it.
yeah. I know. I gotta get into play Couture. I haven't yet. I will eventually, and I will, and you guys will hear all about it, But yeah, so I thought I'd take this time to just dive into that. So do you have any last, we're going to go ahead and close here. So do you have any last thoughts about what we discussed today here, about the game, about any recommendations with the gameplay for anyone who hasn't played yet, like myself?
I guess like I said, you can get all the games on GOG.com.
Mhm.
That's the best option. Um, the first two games haven't aged well. You'll still have fun if you can get into that really
Yeah.
old graphics. But like I said, the games really shine when you get to Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
So you can easily start with both of those, and as a replacement for the first two games, you can just read the novels.
Yeah.
Yeah, the games are still there. They're fantastic.
Hmm.
And if you're looking for Star Wars EU video games, that those two and the KOTOR games are the ones to get easily.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, game talk is always fun as well. So I thought I'd provide this for, everybody in chat as well, so that we can, really get into the Star Wars lore. And again, yeah, the games tie well with the lore because that's their purpose. Even if you play it is different, how you play it is different. It's still significant to the lore. It's still off of the lore as well. And Luke Skywalker, yes, the Alpha, I call him Alpha Squadron, but Alphabet Squadron, did say, in that series, I don't know if it's going to be trilogy or not, but I think there's 2 books in now. They really
Oh
use
yeah, like
with Luke
so
Skywalker's.
like
Yeah.
Soul Assassin says in the chat, if you're gonna stream KOTOR and stuff, it's gonna take time because that game's huge.
Yeah, I figured that. I did open it up to explore a little bit. I haven't really started it yet, but just to check it out. And yes, it's
There's a
game.
website called howlongtobeat.com, I
Okay.
think. So you type in the game on that website, and you get to see the average playthrough time for people who have sent in their playthrough time, and you also get to see how long it takes to do all of it, like the complete game, all the optional missions and stuff, and the average playthrough. So it's okay if you want to plan something.
Yeah.
If it says it's going to take you 20 hours, then you can do 2-hour streams or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll figure it all out. I mean, I'm not in no huge rush, but I just want to give, the fans, like the Star Wars fans that come in here and chat with us on for morning coffee chats, time to chat and talk about the games as well. And because I think, again, that's still a vital part of the original lore. And, it's always coming back to what's fun about the lore. And games are fun. Games are really fun.
Yeah, especially if you're really invested in the EU lore and you play those games, you're going to get everything you want, I think, because you get to visit all the places you've seen in books. And oh, stop calling Laura a goat.
I know what she meant. I know what that is. So yeah. All right. So Abunas, not Abunas. I'm looking at his thing right here. Whoops, wrong one. So thank you for coming in. So Stig, go ahead and tell us where we can find you at, and where you might be appearing next.
Usually here on Thursdays, I guess. Been doing movie talks with Chris Knight on his channel. We did a Total Recall yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was fun. Other than that, I'm on Sporking's channel talking about the Game of Thrones books.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, that's where I'll be next for the movie talk thing on Christie's channel, where we take 1 year per episode, and all the panelists have their top 10 movies, and we discuss them. We're doing 1990 on Saturday, so we've finished the 80s. That's a lot of fun. That's usually what I do. All my content is on other people's channel. I do have a little channel myself, but it's full of nonsense, and people seem to like it anyway, though. But yeah, I just did it for peer pressure. That's it.
You gave into peer pressure. Look at you.
Yeah, I had like 200 subs. I just felt guilty because there was nothing on it, so I just started goofing around. So there's like 10 minutes of content there now.
Yeah.
You can binge my channel while sitting on the toilet. Imagine that.
Wow. Well, thank you for that kind of visual, I guess you could say. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness gracious. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So tonight you'll probably find me on the Queen's Council. So I might be there late, but I will show up and I'll be there and we're gonna have a grand old time like always. And thank you guys for coming in. And I will share that Screen Rant article on my Twitter. So if you guys want to go back and revisit that um, abomination of an article, I guess you can say, you know, and Skywalker's basically fate are to die, basically, is what they're saying regarding that.
I have a question that's on everyone's mind in the chat.
Okay.
What do you feed that cat? That thing's a beast.
She is just a normal cat food, but sometimes she does get scraps because
Scraps of people?
no, just food like chicken or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure Wedge will disapprove.
Yes, he would. He would cry. Yes. Yeah. So basically, I will share that article of Screen Rant on there. You guys can go ahead and read it entirely, or just leave your comments there or in here as well about that article. You know, again, we're just still continuing to see the annihilation of the Skywalker family, even through the Vader comics, which, you know, I cringe at. So thank you guys again for coming in. Find me tonight on the Queen's Council. And again, you can find me on Toxic Femininity Monday nights with Mary Mayhem on Midnight's Edge After Dark's channel with Tom and Lorena Creole. And also Babe the Menace once a month. And we had our show last night, and it was a great show. It was very emotional at one point. So you guys go back and revisit it, and then you guys will understand. And also, you know, I do my lore videos, which I really didn't do one this week because I was debating on what I was going to do with that channel that got blocked by Disney. I'm so salty about that still. So go ahead and check that out as well. So thank you guys so much for coming in and chatting with us about
You
Star
know
Wars.
what's kind of fun?
Hmm?
On my channel, I've uploaded all kinds of retro stuff. I have
Yes.
like a full He-Man episode and some Transformers and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get struck. I just put up what I want and they're fine with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Disney's on my ass about something right now, but mine was about like how George was involved in planning these novels. So, you guys just go ahead and think about that.
Maybe,
you know,
maybe I should put it up on my channel and see what happens.
you're like, I got my walls up. They can't touch me. Stig is like bragging.
Yeah, it's just they just don't care about me.
Oh, but we love you, Stig. We do. We do. All right, everybody, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later on this evening. And may the force be with you.
And don't sniff glue. It's bad for you.